The Museum of North Idaho has found a new home on city-owned property south of City Hall. This property has an interesting history. The property was purchased by LCDC many years ago. At the time, I asked, and wasn't given a clear answer, as to why. They just bought the property. On the other hand, when LCDC purchased the old railroad for $2.5 million, we did know the purpose. It was to turn the property into the Prairie Trail. These two properties came under scrutiny in 2017 when it was proposed that the city be part of a land swap. Part of the Centennial Trail by Tilford Lane and Riverstone would be sold and developed as residential housing. The trail would be diverted. Half the housing property would come from LCDC, the other half from the city, both parts of the trail. And in exchange, the city would receive the LCDC property south of City Hall, which would be preserved as part of Tubbs Hill. The threat made was that if the city didn't acquiesce to the swap, LCDC would develop the property south of City Hall, putting more houses on Tubbs Hill. I was the only member of council to oppose this land swap. So the intent of council and the intent of urban renewal, as Mr. Gady said, was to make this a trail. That's why they bought it. That was our intent. We wanted connectivity. That's why I supported us buying that railroad property, because I thought this is great. And now we're chipping away at it. Open space is a finite commodity. We're always making houses. But if we have open space, that lasts forever. And that's why we bought the thing in the first place. That's why they bought the thing in the first place. That's what's going to happen south of City Hall, and that's what's going to happen on the trail if we didn't do anything. So I don't want to see more houses, especially when we have a limited commodity of open space, especially when we're committing $8 million on the line to buy the Atlas Mill site for open space. So I can't support this. I just say, let it go, let the land revert to the city in 4 years when that district dissolves, and we'll have more open space. And we'll have a nice trail, which is why we bought it.
But we already have a trail now. They're going to have a trail. So there is the connectivity already there.
We can use that argument to build houses on every square inch of the trail.
Well, but we're not going to do that. I mean, this makes
started.
This makes economic development sense. At some point in time, we all love parks and trails, but at some point in time, you have to have economic development to help pay for them, or you're going to raise everybody else's taxes. You got to have revenue to keep up these parks, and if we want our parks to be maintained at a level that we need to maintain them, there has to be economic development. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. A roll call, please. Renata?
Gookin.
No.
English.
Yes.
Ettinger.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
McEvers.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The good news is that no one on council would vote for the swap today. It took time, but eventually, and thanks to the residents near Tilford Lane and efforts made by the Centennial Trail Foundation, the project was scrapped. In its place is a lovely expansion of the trail, which is funded privately, but eventually will be part of the city's parks and trail system. I'd like to thank former Parks Director Doug Eastwood and Riverstone's John Stone for their help in facilitating the new trail expansion. Open space is important. It's vital that if we're to accommodate growth and high density, that we not sacrifice those things that make this area special. With your vote on November 5th, I'll continue to fight for open space and preserve those things that add charm and character to Coeur d'Alene. Vote Dan Gookin, Seat 3, Coeur d'Alene City Council. Thank you.